In Battlestar Galactica, the characters primarily communicate in a language known as Caprican. Intriguingly, this alien tongue is presented to the audience in English. If Caprican is indeed a distinct language simply presented in English for ease of watching, this has big implications for the controversial Battlestar Galactica finale. Although showrunner Ron Moore's involvement in both Star Trek and BSG results in some borrowed Battlestar Galactica plotlines from Star Trek, he equally presents the show as the anti-Trek. Part of this is not only having a no aliens rule in Battlestar Galactica but, along with it, no alien languages. However, the human Caprican language certainly sounds familiar, underscoring the show's fundamentally cyclical narrative. Most characters in Battlestar Galactica speak Caprican, and it sounds like English. Caprican is universally understood in Battlestar Galactica. In Battlestar Galactica, the Caprican language is portrayed in English as the universally understood language. The vocabulary of BSG is mostly typical of American English, apart from a few quirks. For example, swear words are replaced with frac for network reasons. The show also uses a lot of military jargon such as the Battlestar Galactica word CAG, giving it another element of realism. This is part of its gritty, grounded approach that any potential Battlestar Galactica reboot can't repeat. Caprican sounding like English makes it more appealing to the typical viewer. It is an example of the aliens speaking English trope. The common language reflects whatever the language of the producers and target demographic is. This trope is considered an acceptable break from reality because the alternative would be too confusing. This linguistic shortcut allows for easier audience engagement, as viewers are not burdened with the need to decipher a foreign language or rely on subtitles. The use of English also contributes to the show's realism, as it mirrors real-world scenarios where a dominant language becomes the lingua franca for international communication. In the Battlestar Galactica spin-off Caprica, a prequel in the Battlestar Galactica Watch Order, it is confirmed that everyone speaks Caprican. Battlestar Galactica's Caprican might have been a totally different language. Caprican being presented in English could simply be for easy viewing. Imagery from the Battlestar Galactica franchise custom image by Yaelin Chacon. The fact that the common language is referred to as Caprican suggests that there is a universal language in use that is merely being portrayed in English. The use of English could be a simplified representation of this universal language, making it more accessible to the audience. However, it is just as likely that they are speaking English, due to the finale's relationship to prehistoric Earth and Earth in the future. Arguably, language is intended to be part of the collective unconscious and how the 12 colonies subconsciously recreate Kabolian culture. This is also highlighted by the musical motif used in Battlestar Galactica, the song All Along the Watchtower. The show has a close relationship with philosophy and the history of humanity. Language, culture, and the arts recreate the same ideas over eons. This underscores the core message of Battlestar Galactica that this has all happened before and will happen again. This further reinforces the idea of cyclical history and the interconnectedness of human experience. Whether it is a distinct alien language or a reflection of human history, the use of English allows the audience to connect with the characters more easily. Caprican and English being different resolves a question about Battlestar Galactica's ending. This has all happened before, and it will all happen again. Starbuck saying a tearful goodbye to Lee in Battlestar Galactica finale. While Caprican is portrayed as a distinct language, it's presented in English, raising questions about its true nature. Caprican could be a simplified version of a more complex language or a direct predecessor to Earth's common language thousands of years later. The idea that the 12 colonies' language is derived from Earth languages, particularly English, is intriguing. It suggests a cyclical nature to human history, with civilizations rising and falling, leaving behind linguistic remnants that resurface in future epochs. This interesting take is among the reasons Battlestar Galactica is one of the best sci-fi shows. The different colonies of Kobol are comparable to how the English language has developed. Tauran, for instance, seems to draw inspiration from Homeric Greek, while Geminese, or Old Geminese, bears a resemblance to Romanian. Leonese is akin to French, and Virgan to British English. Caprican, the dominant tongue of the colonies, can be equated to American English. Despite these diverse linguistic expressions, they all must have evolved from a common ancestral language, perhaps Kabolian or Olympian, spoken during the final exodus. This shared linguistic heritage underscores the interconnectedness of the 12 colonies and their common origins. However, it's equally plausible that Caprican is a completely alien language, unrelated to any Earth tongue. Perhaps the similarities to English are a result of cultural osmosis or a shared human cognitive framework. This would resolve a question about Battlestar Galactica's ending. Strangely, English-speaking people land on prehistoric Earth, and then their language resurfaces later. The message that a universal consciousness is part of our human programming would answer this, and drive home the shared traits between humans and Cylons in the series.